They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They all talk gobbledygooky, the Para-X family. The shows are paranormal, not stuffy but informal. The topics are abnormal, the Para-X family. They're strange, deranged, unrestrained. So grab your favorite brew, it's time to rendezvous as we give awards to the Para-X family.
Whether you're listening at home, at work, or anywhere, thanks for making Para-X part of your day. Your source for everything paranormal, Para-X.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the Para-X Radio Network. Want to thank everybody for listening tonight, and for those also from around the world, no matter where you're at. And if you're not listening here at Para-X, come on over, para-x.com. Join the chat, and you'll be in with all these wonderful people. And you'll also be able to interact and chit-chat with us and our guest. And want to welcome back our guest, Mark Phillips, executive producer of My Ghost Story. Welcome back, Mark.
Great to be here.
I know my throat tends to be getting even worse as we talk, but nevertheless, do you find that I know there's, I guess when the Ghost Hunters first hit the airways, it really opened the floodgates for all the paranormal venues that come along with it. Is some of those type of shows dwindling, whereas shows like yours, which is actually having the people tell their stories, doing better than the others?
I don't know. I mean, I know Ghost Hunters intimately because I was the co-executive producer the first 2 hours of the show. I helped invent it. And just so your audience knows, I was actually fired.
Uh-oh.
I was fired.
Uh-oh.
They said, this footage is dark. I said, of course it's dark.
It's night.
It's night.
Yeah.
You mean because it was too? It was like the green camera lights, that kind of thing.
No, because it was. It is the show. The show for its history has been dark.
Yeah.
It's just a very difficult company to work for. It's the last work for hire show I ever did. I only produce programming now that my company produces, where I don't have some political entity between me and the network.
Right.
But moving on. I don't know. I think that
well, take into account
Celebrity Ghost Story starts out with a graphic that says 70% of Americans believe that there is something else out there.
True.
And I think they really hit upon something in doing that. I think that paranormal shows will be a genre of television that will be around for a long, long time.
Well, that's
individual shows will come and go, but I think the genre will always be out there because it's like flipping houses. It's like makeovers. There are a lot of people who love this subject matter and are interested in the storytelling.
right.
Now, whether my show will ever eclipse Ghost Hunters, I don't think so. First of all, Ghost Hunters is on Sci-Fi, which is a far bigger network than A&E Bio.
Or as I figure the way they spell it now, Siffy.
Yeah. Fifi. Exactly,
Yeah.
Fifi. I know, what a bizarre branding move. But whatever. They, there are all kinds of networks that are interested in this kind of material. In fact, we were actually approached by Discovery to come up with something for them.
Really?
Yeah, but I do so with great trepidation. I want to make sure that I don't in any way step on the toes of my ghost story, because my ghost story is so very unique that doing a show for another network doesn't appeal to me as much as making sure that my ghost story is an ongoing enterprise for A&E Bio. It should be noted, though, that that my ghost story has also gravitated to A&E proper. Both my ghost story and Celebrity Ghost Story are seen on A&E as well as A&E Bio, and that's a very new thing because.
Well, that's great, though.
Yeah, Bio became kind of originally it was the dumping ground for. Oh God, that's an awful thing to say. The
testing
not the
site?
Dumping ground, but the secondary broadcast of A&E material. For instance, Friday nights is Dog the Bounty Hunter. I mean, if you like Dog the Bounty Hunter, watch A&E Bio on Friday nights.
Yeah.
They do 5 episodes in a row.
Well, the paranormal, of course, is a lot more than. Am I here?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. The paranormal is a lot more than just ghosts.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And the one thing that I will tell you right now is that there is a show that I'm developing, and if there's anybody out there who would like to contact us about this, because I'm actively shooting it right now, and it's a project that I call Our Past Lives. And basically, it is, if you think of my ghost story, it's that show, but it's people who believe that they have been reincarnated, and they come in and tell us about their past life.
Well, that'd be pretty.
Without giving away too much of the format, that's kind of it.
Just did.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's much more to it than that. It's a very intriguing. In fact, yesterday we shot 2 storytellers, and as soon as I saw it coming down, I thought, I got it. This is it. This is going to work.
Well,
now, are you able
and to you, Barbara, I say that's not really. Is that paranormal? I don't know, but it's it's the same church, different pew.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it is. That's paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you believe in nonlinear time, you could say it's physics, but I would say at the moment it's deemed paranormal. And do you have a way of verifying past lives? Are you actually doing the research back into that? Oh.
Yes. Yes, and yes. In the same way that we prove out the storyteller's story on My Ghost Story, we will validate the storyteller's past life on our past lives. I love this idea. I think it's a wonderful. And you know what? There are amazing. There are amazing celebrities who, or not just celebrities, but famous people who are convinced that there was somebody else in their past life. Stephen King. Stephen King firmly believes that he was Jonathan Swift. I personally believe that Jonathan Swift was a better writer than Stephen King, but that's just me.
Huh.
General George Patton was convinced that he was Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very
Nobody
true.
ever thinks that they were just a servant or a serf.
Well, I don't know.
Me personally, I think that I was like a squirrel in a past life.
Squirrel. Huh? I don't know if I actually believe in reincarnation like that, but if there is such a thing, then I've got to feel that somewhere along the way I was a cowboy or something like that, because I've always loved cowboy movies. So maybe I was.
You also sound like a cowboy.
I'd love to be able to play a cowboy, but that'll never happen either. So, but yeah. Okay,
but
Barbara.
do you think the television seems to have changed in that standpoint of the successful stories seem to be about normal people telling normal or out of the ordinary stories?
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's a great platform now for people who want to be heard and want to be believed.
I think it's fabulous. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I mean, no offense, but how sick are all of us about what Hollywood represents? I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey, I'm sure that you're not happy about me saying that, but let's face it, you know,
Well, yeah.
Hollywood has become the essence of hypocrisy.
Well, because the way things are going, I'm just trying to get work. That's why I do so many student films, because I actually get to act.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm an actor. I'm a lifelong stage-trained actor, but most of the work I do, I do a lot of principal work in commercials, and a Super Bowl commercial and everything, but most of the time, I'm lucky when I get a day or three a month background work.
Right. But you know darn well that the most fulfilling work that you do is on the stage, because that's where the most fulfilling writing is.
Pretty much, yeah. But I have become, very much attuned to film. I mean, I grew up doing a lot of, making my own little movies, and I wrote a couple of shorts that we made, and they really need to be remade for several reasons. But yeah, I just like being in front of the camera and doing what I can to see the director and the producer's vision made into what they want.
Yeah, I think with the paranormal that for so many years it was something that wasn't talked about. If somebody said they seen a ghost or something, everybody thought they was nuts, because most people didn't want to believe in anything like that. And now, though, that it's out in the open, all of a sudden everybody's saying, oh, it's okay now if I tell my story or something like that. So I think
I don't know if it was one of our guests or I was listening to another ParaX show, but they said in England, almost everybody's like, oh, yeah, we have a ghost.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's huge in England.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Everybody believes.
And I think and there's a real historical context to it in England as well, because
Sure.
It's
culturally accepted.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's more to the paranormal. Have you thought about branching into the cryptozoology or UFOlogy?
Well, I tried to pitch a couple of years ago my UFO story, and it went nowhere. Firstly, because there's very little
documentation,
UFO evidence out there. There just is not a lot of that stuff out there.
And
it's very interesting. This is very interesting that you'll find that paranormal, ghost, that kind of material appeals a little bit more to women.
Mm-hmm.
UFO, aliens, that kind of stuff appeals a little bit more to men. The demographers will tell you that.
Yeah, sure.
Which I find interesting. I mean, I'd love to do something with on UFOs, but I haven't really been able to tackle it yet. The only way I did tackle it, I tackled it on my show Lie Detector. There are two different stories that I did on lie detector. One was of a scientist who worked for the Pentagon, who claimed that he had seen documents that proved that that alien creatures did exist, and that they had been captured by our military. And we put him on the lie detector, a world-class polygraph test, and he passed. He passed with flying colors. And the other one was a woman who does a show out of Winnipeg, actually. I believe it's, if I remember correctly, the show was out of Winnipeg, who claimed that when she lived in California, her car broke down and an alien spaceship came down and fixed her car and helped her on her way. And she took a polygraph on lie detector and flunked with flying colors. And begged me not to air it because it would ruin the radio show that she does out of Winnipeg. And I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
When you start saying that UFOs have a AAA on the side, you know.
Thou shalt not lie. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I think reincarnation kind of goes both sides of the spectrum, men
I
and
agree with
women.
Certainly, Barbara, from your lips to God's ears.
Well, I had a friend.
Well, I certainly.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I have a friend back east who has since moved to Arizona, who had done past life research on himself, and turned out that he was a thief that had stowed away on the Titanic and went down on it. And it's somehow, I don't know, he was able to figure out who he was or something, but it was difficult to do because he was traveling under false name and stuff like that.
Can you, Jeffrey, can you email me that story or the connection to that, or can you get me in touch with him?
I haven't been able to be in touch with him in a long time, and he has a VHS tape of mine. He still owes me. Well,
I'll get it back for you.
There you go.
Because that's a great story.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can track him down. I've been sort of looking for him, but his name is Ray Masterson, and that's kind of a more of a common name than you'd think.
That's a wonderful story. Yeah. There's all kinds of this stuff out there. I'm telling you, that's my next show. I'm telling you.
Uh-oh. All right. I tell you. Maybe someday I'll get something caught on tape. And then maybe be able to send you something.
So I'm trying to think. Like I say, I saw your Wikipedia listing on Facebook. You say you don't have a profile on Facebook. Does My Ghost Story have a page on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll pick up then.
Yeah, it does.
And I found you on LinkedIn. I sent you an ad, by the way.
And if people go to Facebook, they can connect with us and send us their story suggestions and so forth and so on.
Now, what kind of people generally approach you?
You mean to be storytellers?
Yeah.
Oh, all kinds of people. All the way from... that's such a broad question. It's hard to answer because... I mean, I love it when somebody approaches us, and I'll give you an example. I had drinks with a good buddy and a bandmate of mine who is a lawyer, and he brought along a lawyer friend of his. This was on St. Paddy's Day in Santa Monica in California. And this guy is his friend is a merger and acquisitions professor at USC. He's written 6 books. He's a monster brain. Really, really smart guy. And he watches My Ghost Story every Saturday because he had this experience of many, many years ago. I've tried to find evidence about his experience, because it's such a great story. But I haven't been able to find any evidence. I mean, you take that, it's all the way down to, and I don't want to disparage janitors, because the janitor of my office is one of my favorite people in the world. But, you know, people with grade 6, 7, or no education who've had these experiences. So it's all over the place. It's amazing. I mean, I told you about the police officers earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just never know where this stuff is going to come from. My mother, I told you the story earlier. My mother, I would never have thought my mother would have had this kind of experience.
Now, did you know that story before you started the show?
No, I had no idea. And the only reason she told me is because I said, "Why don't you watch my show?" And then she told me this story. Oh, okay. Now I understand.
But you never saw that experience yourself as a child? Yeah.
No.
So have you ever been on an investigation?
Yes. Of course. I was the co-EP of the first 2 hours of my Ghost Hunters. I've been on that investigation, but I've been on my own investigations. I think before you joined the show tonight, Jeffrey, I told your co-host and the audience about a Queen Mary investigation I went on with Peter James, who was a very famous.
Oh yeah, I know about it. I have his autobiography. I'm friends with his friend John.
Yeah, he's quite. He was an amazing guy, amazing guy. And he's the one who really got me interested in this arena so many years ago. It was back in 1992. Might have been earlier. It might have been 1991, 1992, something like that. Amazing guy.
That's great. Has anything ever appeared on the set while you were filming as your interviews?
No, I don't think so. There are some people on our crew who think that there has, but for the most part, I would just say no, not really.
Well, now, how about when the crews go back to do the shots of the location?
That happens all the time.
And they do catch evidence that way?
They do.
Really?
And sometimes we include it in the show itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how about follow-up? Have you done any shows where you go back to some of your previous interviewees and see if the events are still happening?
Well, one of the things that we do with the show is that, generally speaking, by the time we finish an episode, it's about 4 to 5, maybe 6 months after we shoot the initial story on the set. And we always call the storytellers, and they will give us an update on what has happened at that particular place. And we put words on screen at the end of every story. If you watch the show, we call it the closure. And we generally address what you asked, Barbara, at that point. Now, have we ever gone back to find if there's an additional evidence years later? No.
Yeah.
But you know what? Thanks for the idea. That's not bad. Maybe we should.
I often wonder whether the attention given by a film crew would enhance or cause an increase in paranormal activity down the road if they think that they're being...
No, I'm thinking that maybe we should go back to some of our early stories and see what's happened since, and whether there may not be a...
Maybe you could do updates or follow-ups.
Yeah, like an update follow-up episode. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Barbara, I owe you a royalty.
Uh-oh. And you heard it first here on that Paranormal View.
You did.
Right, Barbara Duncan.
That's a really good idea, Barbara.
I have my moments, a few, but I have them.
Ceiling tablets down on us all.
Yes.
Well, you still got another page and a half of questions, don't you?
Of course I do.
Well, fire away.
I'm wondering about some of the more tricky cases, like the demonic ones, where you're sending your crews into potential scene scenarios where they might be injured. Have any of them gotten injured, scared to the point where they had to quit, to the point where they have to call in an exorcist? How bad does it get?
No injuries yet. Most of my people are really strong, really centered, and we haven't had that problem yet. I hope I don't have to. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to sound callous. I really don't. But if indeed something does happen, I'm insured. Mm-hmm. And I do not mean to be callous.
I understand. Oh, yeah. I mean, has your crew had a change of heart? Do they go in with the attitude of, oh, I don't believe any of this, and come out whimpering? You know, it's like, oh my God, I just had the experience.
No, you know what? It's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Some people, it just rolls off it just rolls off them. They could see, Abraham Lincoln in front of them, and they wouldn't believe it. And others would. It's just the nature of the way they are.
Yeah, that's one thing that like in Ghost Hunters, or actually in a lot of the those type of shows, their cameraman that follows them around, they always have the camera pointing at them when something happens, so they never actually get it caught on camera. And I've always laughed at that.
That's because they're not capturing anything on camera.
That's what I figured too.
Trust me.
Well, the biggest
when
part
those shows are being made, there are 3, 4, sometimes 5 cameras there. So if you're not seeing it, nobody's seeing it.
Right.
Well, that's what drove me crazy. I used to watch. I'd occasionally watch the ghost hunting one with Zach Baggins. Well, Ghost Adventures, I think it is. And they went to Linda Vista Hospital. Well, I've been there several times. I've never had any.
Which one?
Ghost Adventures, something like that.
I know, but where's the location?
Linda Vista Hospital in Boyle
Oh,
Heights.
yeah, and here in L.A., yeah.
Yeah. I've been there several
times.
It's
a great place.
It is.
And it's the spookiest place you've ever been to, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence from that place. I know. We tried to do it.
I did see somebody who had an experience while I was there, but I wasn't with her at the time. And another friends of mine were videotaping. We were getting nothing on our digital recorders, but the video camera was picking up EVPs. But there was on the Ghost Adventures, there was a shot. You see one of the guys leaving frame to go through a door, and as he's going through the door, his camera held up to his face starts going down. And then he comes running out. Oh, there's a full-body apparition. I'm like, well, of course you didn't get it. You were putting your camera down, so how can I believe what you're saying?
Right.
That used to drive me crazy when that stuff happened.
Yeah. Well,
that's a great location.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love wandering around there all by myself, and I've had no problem being in the dark and any kind of place. Because when anything usually has happened to me, it's so fast and quick, and I'm busy ruling out what it might be, that by the time I get to, that had to have been this, it's too late to bother being scared. I was down at a girlfriend's house down in Fullerton in Orange County, and I was in the kitchen by myself at like 3 in the morning with the lights all out because I was just getting a drink, and all of a sudden in my right ear, I heard a very clear female voice say, "Hey," to the point that I just thought, "Oh, Sharon snuck up on me." And I turned to face her, and I kept turning until I realized I was all by myself in the empty kitchen, and she was still back in the bed on the other side of
but
the
what
house.
were you drinking, Jeffrey?
Milk. I was getting a glass of milk. And there was enough ambient light, so it wasn't like anybody could have, I thought, wow, how did she sneak up on me? I didn't even hear her feet, and like, I'm by myself, what the heck? And eventually I realized I knew that she had a ghost that used to touch her in her sleep and wake her up. And so I told her, I said, you've been in bed the whole time, right? She said, yeah. And I said, I think your ghost just introduced herself to me pretty much.
Wow.
Well, our time is kind of slipping right on by. So, Barbara, if you've got a couple more questions that you've got down there that you want to ask real quick, we can get those in.
Well, I guess we've been talking about this and hinting at it about different camera angles and what crews do when they get in there and how they shoot. I'm interested to know if you've seen people who contact you with some really, really flagrant fakes. Now, I just watched one of your shows.
Flagrant what?
Fakery.
Oh, yeah, we've had a few. Yeah. Photoshop stuff that's just obvious. Mm-hmm. But I think we addressed this earlier. We kind of see it coming because it's always somebody who wants to promote this place that they're at, whether it's their haunted house that they're trying to generate tourists to come and see, or whether it's a club where they think that people are going to come there and watch strippers because it's haunted as well. I mean, laugh not. Laugh
that's
not.
a venue. I'll live with it.
Yeah, I imagine there's quite a few of that, but yeah. Well, I mean, there is what I love about the show is like I said, the very realistic appearance that people are making of this is what I saw, honest. And you can see it in their eyes, that they firmly believe what they see.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even the video, I was just watching one of the little girl or the little kid walking across the bed, and where you could see the covers drop down. Right. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
So you know that just because you can reproduce it doesn't mean it's fake.
There you go.
That's like factor faked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I hate when they do that. When they're like, see, we were able to recreate the video, so it must be fake.
Must be fake, yeah.
What?
No.
What logic is that?
That's an interesting thing, though, is all these people that has these stories, they have visual or video evidence to show you with it. It's got to be at the right time, the right place, and everything happening just right in order for them to get that evidence. So it's not like something just all of a sudden happened. They just happen to have the camera there going. It's like they were doing some sort of an investigation or looking for whatever it is that had been bothering them. Yeah.
And if I can remind your audience, if you want to watch my ghost story, it's on A&E Bio Saturday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, and there's usually 2, 3, 4 episodes an evening. So I hope your audience watches it and enjoys it and visits the Bio website and
at least records it to play it back later.
Yeah.
While they're listening to our show.
Yeah, right. There you go.
And also, if they want to send you stories of reincarnation, they should use that same...
Exactly, yeah.
The same contact information, My Ghost Story.
Yeah, send us, if there's reincarnation stuff, send it to us. Yeah, we'd love to have it.
Well, since our time is just about run right on down, I want you to go ahead and give out all your information, how to contact you, which you just
Sure,
did.
You can reach us at myghost.story at mppt.tv. That's My Ghost Story at mppt.tv. Let me spell out the MPPT.tv so everyone gets it. It's M as in Mark, P as in Phillips, P as in Phillips, T as in television, .tv. My ghost story at MPPT.tv. There you go.
All right, we got that. So, I want to go ahead and thank you for being on the show tonight, for taking the time.
I want to thank you for having me. It was great. You guys are terrific.
Well, thank you. we try to be, and we don't try to hammer anybody. We just want to have a good time and laugh and carry on, and just like a family here. So,
and Jeffrey, since you're in the city that I live in but don't really want to, if you want to reach out and get a hold of me and come in and visit with us, please do so. If you get a hold of, you can get a hold of me through Henry, and you can get straight to me. So if you want to come visit us and see the operation, come to the studio, just let me know.
There you go,
cool.
Jeff.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I do want to, again, thank everybody for being with us tonight and taking the time to listen. Next week we have Kenneth Harmon on. He is the author of Ghosts Underfoot, and should be a great show then also. From what I understand, he was a detective or policeman, and he had all these different ghost stories, so ought to be interesting. I guess what we'll do is, Jeff, you can give out all of our site information, and also let Mark know where to be able to see the show and read all the information. So,
well, my own website is jeffgould.net, GEOFFGOULD.net, and if you add /2011PNV.htm, that'll get you to the little hub page on my website. That'll have all the past shows, including the link to this report page. And on the report page will be different links to the Ghost Story site, to Mark's email will certainly be there a few times, actually, and recommendation for the book, Running with the, what was that called? The Joseph Lanny book, Running with the Bulls, The Road to Fresh Kills, Journey into the Paranormal, which you recommended.
You should have him as a guest, by the way.
That sounds interesting.
We may have to.
And if you need his contact information, get a hold of me. He's a really terrific guy.
I was getting ready to tell you to send that to me.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And also our regular website is theparanormalview.com. And at Facebook, you can just search for The Paranormal View. There we are. And I'm at Facebook. Just add Jeffrey.Gould, GEOFFREY.GOULD.
All right. Well, Mark, I want you to stay on till after we get off, and then we'll talk with you for a second.
Sure.
Again, we're fixing to jump off. We want to thank everybody again for listening, and thank Mark Phillips for taking the time to be with us. Until next week, this is Henry Foister.
Jeffrey Gould.
And this is Barbara Duncan.
Oh, really? I was wondering if you were still around.
Yeah.
All right. Till then, we'll see you next week. So good night, everybody.
We're leaving. We're gone. Paranormal View. Come back and visit us again if you dare. You've been listening to The Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network.
The Paranormal View.